more time to my channel, Dancer the Rasa. Dancer the Rasa. It's Rasa the Dancer. How many times does one need to say the whole promotional thing and still get it wrong? Rasa the Dancer, me. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit cold. I'm heating the house and everything, but today in London, it is not a good day. It is very, very cold, so I have decided to wrap myself, even though I should be wearing something really nice, but I was wearing, and I have decided that you will understand. You're my people and you don't want me to be cold. That is my assumption, and if that is incorrect, you can comment below. How dare she be wrapped up and not wear something very beautiful. Anyway, this video is not about me moaning about London's weather. It is actually about how to be a soft lead and a very soft light follower. So if you are dancing a partner dance, this is basically gonna be my 5 tips for you how to improve and be a soft and light lead or follower. So let's get started. Tip number 1 is all about technique in the end of the day. A lot of people think, especially followers, that if they are slightly bigger in size, that might contribute to how heavy they feel whilst they're dancing. That is not true. There is a lot of different sizes on the dance floor, and it's most of it based on technique that determines how light you are. Same for the guys. Different dance requires different technique. For example, in salsa crossbody, you have the hands that are fingertips like this, and we keep it very light, no thumbs ever, and that connection here is what we use. If you dance bachata, you turn like this, but in some sort of footwork combination, you get palm to palm situation, and you get a little bit more tension required for the footwork. If you dance Cuban salsa, again, they tend to take a wrist a lot, which is a little bit more tough combination, but that's just positioning. The roughness comes not from whether you're holding tighter. It's actually other things. So let me quickly elaborate. I'm not gonna go too crazy on this because I think it requires me to show you, which I might do on another video. If you'd like me to actually show it in a partner work, please comment below. Anyway, but just to keep it short, first of all, the lightness for the ladies or the followers, who is follower, comes from footwork. If you know good footwork and you know how to travel, then your legs that are the hips that are underneath your body are taking you through the dance floor. If you know how to turn with spotting and flicking your head, your turns are nice, so your footwork is good, then you don't need to rely on your leader to drag you around. So then you can actually just give enough connection as required in the dance and just follow through very lightly because you already know how to do those steps yourself. Does that make sense? And the other thing that is very important is to make sure that in the class you might hear sometimes, which I don't approve, but who am I to judge? A lot of the teachers say, I need tension, I need tension. And I think people sometimes, without explaining it in detail, and people sometimes think when teachers ask for tension, they need to tense up. And that's actually not what they mean. They mean connection, and connection means that one with another is connecting whether inwards or outwards. Does that make any sense? So if I press onto somebody, I'm finding connection, but my body could be nice and relaxed. So I could still be moving and everything, but pressing my hands. So we still feel each other, but we are not tensing so much that that tension becomes heaviness. Does that make sense? So this is especially for the followers when you hear, I need Tension, 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 not tension in your body. It's finding a connection, whether inwards or outwards or the other way. But do not tense up the body, because that's what makes you heavy. For the leaders, a little point that I could elaborate on is to try and understand that dancing is not about push and pull. It's about maintaining the connection. It's about being everywhere you need to be in time, all around the lady. The moment you actually push and pull, you feel bad. It's not nice to dance with a guy who push and pull, okay? Or any leader. So if you want the follower to do something and you feel like your only way to make her do it is by push and pull, that means you shouldn't do it. If you don't know any other way how you can maneuver around her, how to reposition her to get what you're trying to achieve, then don't do it. Because push and pull, it's exactly what makes you a rough lead, not a strong lead that some followers like, a rough lead. Nobody likes rough, okay? So stop pushing and pulling, focus on technique that your dance requires, right? And then find ways how to move around your follower and make the combinations happen without pushing and pulling. So basically, tip number one, learn the technique that requires for the dance and recognize that tension is not tension in a body, it's an actual connection inwards or outwards, and no push and pull, work around. That is my tip number one. My tip number two is very easy to say, but not very easy to do, I think. It's relax your mind. A lot of the times you become a rough lead or a really heavy follower is because in your mind there's so much stuff going on that it is hard to relax and just make it happen. You know, as a leader, you have a lot to remember, so you do end up pushing and pulling and just trying to go through it. And for the followers, it's like they are following. So the fact that they don't know what to do and have to pick up all these signals that might not necessarily always be very obvious signals, you know, the mind is going right? So the mind basically interrupts your body to be a normal body. It goes in the tension mode and then it's just like, it's just bad. So you gotta learn how to breathe through the crazy moments. Think, I've got this. One way to think I've got this, if you know the moves and you know the techniques. So practice, practice, practice. But just try to relax the mind. Try to think that me worrying about it, we can only make it worse. It cannot make it better. So you have to have a healthy attitude of, yes, I need to practice and get better. But you have to not work yourself so hard in your mind that you can't actually do anything and you become very, very stiff, or as a leader, you become like crazy manic, right? So you have to relax the mind in order the body to relax and everything to be a bit more smooth. Okay, tip number 3, not all dances are the same, but the ones that I mostly have experience in, which is salsa and bachata, and you know, a touch of kizomba, it really is true that the leader is supposed to be first and the follower slightly second in the way we take our steps. Salsa, much less, bachata, a bit more, kizomba, much more. So as a follower, you cannot take your step before the leader took the step. If you do so, you are already leading yourself. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So it doesn't mean that the leader leads and 3 seconds later you respond. The response is so quick, but the fact is that it's supposed to be a response. If you're going somewhere without any invitation to any of the positions, that means you are going before the leader led, hence you're going before him, hence why it's really hard to lead you. Does that make sense? And yet, you don't want to be like a block and respond 3 hours later, yes? He raised the hand and about to turn you like, right? So we need those reflexes a little bit quicker for the response. But the response comes after the guy actually leads. What that means, leader, for you, you are supposed to be there always before the girl. If there's a turn, you gotta finish it in order to know what to do next. If you're turning and you're about to turn her, but you haven't finished your turn and you want to turn her and you're not in that position, of course it's gonna be rough, it's gonna be clumsy, it's not gonna be a smooth situation. So you have to make sure that whatever combinations you do, you are in full control. You finish your turns early. You make sure that you're always through the corner of the eye, you glance, you can see where the positioning of the follower is. So you can actually be everywhere slightly, like a little bit earlier than her, whether in your mind, whether in the corner of your eye, or whether with the actual body. If you do that, leaders, you could be smooth because you're always there, ready to continue with movement rather than finishing late and then pushing her through at moments when she's not ready, right? And as a follower, as I say, in salsa a little bit less, bachata a little bit more, kizomba much more. You only can step when you actually be led. So with salsa, is because the music is so quick, it's just, and certain positions you just go, you travel, you go, you travel. But in certain positions, you can't just move if he's stopping and you're just continuing to go. So you have to increase those reflexes, and that will also, followers, will make you a smoother follower. Okay, tip number 4. This one is really easy. It doesn't require a lot of effort. But it does require a bit of understanding. As a leader, to be a smooth leader, you have to understand that doesn't matter what you've learned in what class, there's certain moves that you just cannot do. That's what makes you a smooth leader, that you don't try and advance a combination on a beginner or an improver. Does that make sense? So you can always think, I can increase somebody's level if I'm really good leader, like 1 level up, maybe 1.5 levels, but you can't go 2 or 3. Does that make sense? So part of being a smooth leader is realizing from your basic steps, starting nice and easy, to know who you're dancing with. You do a couple of things and you can sense whether the follower is tensing up, maybe lack of experience, maybe nervous, whatever it is. So of course, you're not gonna go into your the most craziest combination you've got. Keep it nice and easy and start playing around. And then, your follower will be super happy to dance with you because, she experienced a nice, smooth dance rather than going through these crazy moves that the follower is not capable of following. It's not necessarily that you would be leading it back. It's just the level is different. You can't do everything to everybody. You gotta test the waters and choose what you do with who, and then playing with the music is what gives the extra flavor, right? And doesn't make it boring to do less combinations. And as a follower as well, if you're dancing with the leader who is less experienced, what makes you a smooth dancer is the fact that you could do things the way that even if the leader is really inexperienced, it looked like it was something awesome, right? So you can work on your styling, you can work on your timing and musicality, You can work on your turns. So if the leader is turning you a little bit too slow, to make it back on the rhythm, you turn a little bit quicker and you come back into the rhythm. If the leader is, for example, just doing basic step after basic step, you do the basic step with maybe a little shine situation or a little hand in here to make it a bit more exciting for you. And the leader is gonna be like, oh, cool, it's not just a basic that I'm doing, she's playing with it. So it's how can you make that dance better for both of you, for you and for the leader as well, more exciting and more musical, and help them to realize that there is another level to go to. And that also what would be kind of making you a smooth dancer too. So basically the tip number 4 is actually realizing each other's level and adapting to it and making the dance the best it can be at the level that you two together are. That's what makes you smooth dancers. Tip number 5, final tip, we are all different. What is smooth for me might not be so smooth for somebody else. Does that make sense? So you gotta understand this and you gotta watch each other's face. If you're dancing with somebody, have a look at them now and then. Oh my God, how many times do two people dance together and never look at each other? It's like crazy to me. You're touching, but you're not looking at each other. Have a look at each other's face now and then. If it's uncomfortable, at least sometimes. And if the other face that you see in front of you is something like, or, right? You clearly not doing something right. And I'm not saying that you have to be entertaining, but they might be freaked out by something rather than bored. I didn't show you a bored face. Bored would be something like, right? But I showed you like scared face. If you see a scared face, that means something's going wrong. So as a leader, if you look at the lady and she's not smiling and she has that scared like smacked face, you know, in front of you, maybe you need to tone it down a little bit, or maybe, you know, just smooth it out a little bit, because clearly something is not working, you know? Or if you see like they're just completely trying to hold on to you, maybe just not getting enough, maybe you need to give a little bit more. And as a follower as well, look at the leader's face. What do you see? If you know the leader is freaking out by everything or looks really concerned and cannot relax his facial muscles, maybe it's not that easy to lead you. Try to breathe. Try to relax the body. Remember, connection is not tension in the body. Rely on the steps that you know. Smile, just looking into his eyes. Maybe it will give him a bit more confidence to lead you as well. And you know, and good luck to you all, basically. So have a look at each other and understand that we are all different. If we come together to dance and it works and we both like what we like, fantastic. But if we both come and we like completely different things, we're just gonna have to learn how to readapt. And it's just the way it is. So look at each other, make sure you find out what each other like, and just, you know, do the best you can do. That's my tip number 5. Do the best you can do. And those were my 5 tips for you how to be a soft leader and follower. There are some that will help you probably to be actually softer, and some tips will help you to be smoother, but it's the same business. Anyway, now I'm gonna probably go get a hot drink or a hot shower because it's so cold. But you distracted me for a few minutes. I forgot how cold I was because I was talking to you. So if you'd like me to talk to you more, subscribe to my YouTube channel and make sure you ring the bell. It's somewhere there, and then you get notified for more videos. And of course, Thumbs up if you like the video, and I love the comments. Anything you've got to say it in the comments below. I'll make sure to read them and respond appropriately. Sometimes. I see you soon, guys, with Rasa the dancer.